Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation with a fascinating topic, the psychology of familiarity and how we love what we know. On this first slide, titled We Love What We Know, we'll explore how our past experiences shape our attraction to others. We'll look at how growing up in environments with conditional or inconsistent love can influence our emotional responses and perceptions. Over the next few slides, we'll delve into the science behind familiarity and how it impacts our relationships. So, let's get started. So, one thing to keep in mind is that a partner who withdraws or withholds affection might actually be mirroring the emotional patterns they learned growing up. It's like they're repeating a familiar dynamic, often without even realizing it. And this can be really confusing because our bodies sometimes interpret this unpredictability as passion. We might think that the ups and downs, those emotional highs and lows, are actually signs of a real, deep connection. But in reality, it's often just a reflection of those early attachment patterns. Recognizing this can help us understand that what feels like intense chemistry might actually be rooted in unresolved emotional patterns, and that's a key part of working through these dynamics in our relationships. This creates a paradox, because even though emotional unavailability can be hurtful, it often still feels like home. Now, in neuroscience terms, we can think of this as a habit loop. Our early experiences shape how our brain perceives love, often linking it with emotional distance. And what happens is that those neural pathways, those connections in our brain, get reinforced every time we go through the same cycle. So even if that cycle is painful, it's familiar. It's what we know, and that familiarity makes it feel like home. This is a key piece of understanding why breaking free from emotional unavailability can be so challenging. It's wired into the very fabric of our brain from those early experiences. Let's talk about the dopamine trap and why chasing unavailable partners can feel so addictive. When someone is often showing affection one moment and then pulling away the next, it creates a push-pull dynamic. This kind of unpredictability keeps us on edge, and our brains respond by releasing dopamine, which is the chemical associated with pleasure and reward. Basically, our brains are wired to seek out this kind of excitement, even though it's often painful or frustrating. This cycle of emotional highs and lows keeps us hooked, which ties into the overall theme of how our brain's chemistry influences our relationship patterns. So on this slide, we're looking at how inconsistent affection can impact us. When affection isn't steady or predictable, our brains actually start craving it even more intensely. It's like they're seeking that sense of security and connection, and when it's missing or unpredictable, the desire grows stronger. Now, this leads us to the next point, which is exciting uncertainty. The uncertainty itself becomes a kind of thrill. It creates a kind of addictive pattern, where the unpredictability fuels desire and keeps us hooked. This cycle is really important to understand because it ties into the overall theme, how patterns of affection and uncertainty can influence our emotional responses and attachment behaviors. Recognizing this can help us better understand why some relationships feel so compelling, even when they're not entirely stable. This is similar to how slot machines work. The reward doesn't come every time, but when it does, the rush is much stronger. It's that element of unpredictability that makes the experience so addictive. Now, this helps explain why you might feel an almost magnetic pull toward someone who is emotionally unavailable. Your brain has wired your desire to the chase, not necessarily the connection itself. So, instead of focusing on building something meaningful, it's the thrill of the pursuit that keeps you hooked. This ties back to our overall theme, how our brain's wiring can sometimes lead us into patterns that are hard to break, even if they're not healthy. Let's talk about the illusion of control, which is something many people experience in relationships. It's the idea that if I just love harder, prove myself more, or wait long enough, I can finally break down my partner's walls. But here's the catch: this is actually an illusion. It's a false sense that we can control someone else's feelings. On a deeper, subconscious level, when we're attracted to someone who's emotionally unavailable, it often reflects an old wound. We might be thinking, if I can make them love me, I'll finally heal the rejection I felt in the past. It's a way of trying to fix something from our history by controlling the present. Instead of walking away, which might be healthier, we double down. We keep trying, hopping to win validation from someone who cannot give it consistently. That's where the problem lies. Because what we're really fighting for isn't just the relationship itself, but to rewrite our own story, our history of feeling rejected or unworthy. So, in essence, this isn't just about love. It's about healing those old wounds, even if it's happening in an unhealthy way. Attachment styles really shape who we're attracted to and why. When I talk about anxious attachment, I mean that the person craves closeness and reassurance all the time. So, when they encounter someone who's emotionally unavailable, it activates their fear of abandonment, which makes them chase even harder. It's like their need for connection overrides everything else. On the other hand, avoidant attachment is a bit different. People with this style often fear intimacy, even if they secretly want it. They might end up choosing partners who are unavailable because it helps them keep that emotional distance without feeling guilty or vulnerable. Now, secure attachment is more balanced. People with a secure style can handle closeness and independence pretty well. They're less likely to be attracted to someone unapproachable. But here's the interesting part. Even secure individuals can get caught in this trap if they have unresolved wounds from the past. This all ties back to the bigger picture. Two people can meet the same emotionally unavailable partner, but only one might feel irresistibly drawn to them. That's because it's about what's being activated inside of you, your attachment style, and past experiences. It's a key piece of understanding attraction and relationship dynamics. All right, let's talk about breaking the cycle and how to rewire attraction. First, it's important to understand that escaping the pull of emotionally unavailable partners isn't just about willpower. It's really about rewiring your nervous system and healing old wounds that may be driving these patterns. The first key step is awareness. You need to recognize your patterns. Sometimes, what feels like attraction isn't actually a sign of compatibility. Instead, it might be your old wounds being reactivated. Being aware of this helps you make more conscious choices moving forward. Next, reframing desire is crucial. Ask yourself if you're drawn to someone because they're genuinely good for you, or if it's because they trigger insecurities rooted in past experiences. This reflection can help you differentiate between healthy attraction and old, unhelpful patterns. Building secure bonds is another important step. Surround yourself with people who are emotionally consistent. Remember, secure attachment isn't something we're born with, it's learned through experience. So, choosing the right connections can help you develop healthier patterns. Practicing emotional regulation is also vital. Learn ways to soothe your nervous system without relying on someone else's attention. Techniques like meditation, journaling, or breathwork can be powerful tools to help you stay grounded and calm. And finally, seeking therapy or coaching can make a big difference. A professional can guide you through breaking trauma bonds and reconditioning how you respond in relationships. All these steps are about creating a healthier relationship with yourself and others, which ultimately supports breaking free from those old, unhelpful cycles. So, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize that attraction to emotionally unavailable people isn't actually a flaw. It's a pattern that's rooted in familiarity, neurochemistry, and past attachment wounds. Once you recognize that your brain has been conditioned to associate unavailability with love, it opens the door to breaking that cycle. True intimacy, on the other hand, isn't about the chase, mixed signals, or emotional distance. It's built on consistency, vulnerability, and trust. These are the real foundations of a healthy connection. The key takeaway here is that the real work involves retraining your mind to desire partners who are truly capable of giving you the love you deserve. It's about shifting your patterns and expectations so that what you seek aligns with what's healthy and fulfilling in the long run. Remember, understanding this pattern is the first step toward creating the kind of relationship that truly nourishes you.